there, I guess. Just hang
It says
out.
live on my end.
Okay, it says live for me too. Okay.
Okay.
So let's start. Welcome back to On Your Hero, and this is Brianna Cowan. She wanted to know about adults that left Christianity. I was 27 when I left, 28 now, and I'll be 29 coming up in November. So, what did you want to start off talking about? Because I got bullets to keep us on track with the kind of stuff we talked about yesterday. So,
I'm not really sure where to begin. There's a whole lot, but I guess I can just start off by saying I was in the church all my life, and I left when I was about 20, and I'm 25 now, so I've been out of it for a little bit, but I'm really not sure where to begin.
Okay.
I've never done this before, so.
Yeah, like me either. Like the only time I did this was with someone else's for like their business or whatever, and they was like had me on there trying to help me out with something. Okay, so let's talk about. Let's go through the bullet points. So let's talk about healing the sick. The guy with the cane. Talk about that.
Oh, yeah. So one thing with the church is it was always like I felt like my gifts were exploited a lot of the times. And one of the instances where it happened was where I was brought up onto the stage, and like I didn't say I wanted to be up there. Like I didn't do anything that made them think that I should go up there. So they brought me up there, and they're like, oh, yeah, Brianna's going to heal this guy, and it's going to be awesome, and it's going to be cool. And so this guy, he had some kind of bone issue. I'm not really sure what it was, but I went up there, and I put my hands on him, like you always put your hands on him. And I just started praying the way that I was taught, like in the name of Jesus and all of that. And the guy was like, oh, your hands got really hot, and my knees are feeling better. And he just like gave his cane to his wife and was like, I'm done with this. And he like started running.
What?
So I mean, it's kind of cool, but like at the same time, I felt like it wasn't the right environment, and it made me feel really awkward. But like I'm all for people getting healed, and like I'm all for that happening. It's just in the environment I was in, I didn't feel like I should have been there, you know?
Yeah, because of the way that they was trying to. Oh, my voice sounds low. Do I sound okay to you?
Yeah, you sound okay.
Oh, okay. Anyways, I was like the way that they was trying to, like you said, exploit you and use your gifts. You know, that was wrong of them to do so. And I think that they felt that. You know, a lot of people would say that would be Reiki or whatever. I mean, it's supposed to be universal life force that we all can use and things like that. But at the time, I mean, the same thing. So with me, similarity. Like I had a pastor when I was going to church when I was 26, and he got this lung disease, and he ended up having some type of ammonia in the lungs where he had to take this. It's like this cold canister, and he had this thing in his nose that would pump him air all the time, and he had this big one in his house. Anyways, he said he couldn't go up steps easily. He couldn't carry groceries. He couldn't do normal everyday tasks. Well, 3 months before I got notice of that, the sun would like shine through my big window in the living room. Sometimes I would be sitting in that chair over there, or I would be here, and I would feel like my hands would get hot and heat up, or I would see this like fire on my hands. But like that stuff never happened before. Okay. And it was just random. And it doesn't happen all the time. It happens like twice a month. It's just something to let me know that it's there. And I had this little golden armor thing on my one arm, my right arm. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that's about. But it's just something I would just kind of like see. Like my imagination would just go wild for a second. And it's like, that's what it would grab my attention to see that. Anyways, I get this feeling that I'm supposed to, go put my hands on this dude's chest. I'm sitting here like, oh, I don't know about doing all that. So 3 months go by, and in the third month, I get this saying in my head. I was just, playing some video games or whatever I was doing after work. And then I get this thing that said, if you have the gifts to help him, but you didn't, you don't have to do anything. But how are you going to feel if you don't help this guy? I was like, okay. So I asked him, I said, hey, went to church. I said, hey, pastor, after church, let's go in the back where the kitchen place is. Went where the kitchen place was. He sat in front of me. I sat there and I waited for like 5 minutes, felt like 10 minutes, 15 minutes for me, because we were just looking at each other like, what we doing here? But my hands got hot, and I just went like that. I told him to open up his shirt. He had a button-down shirt. Just told him to open up his shirt, and I was like, I know what's going to seem kind of, weird, a man touching a man's chest. I know, but this is what I'm supposed to do, so I'm just going to do it. Well, we did that. Afterwards, he got 75% better. He could at least go up and down the steps and mow the lawn, and he was all right. But during the time, he was like, Lord, we just had a healing. But every Sunday after that, he's never said anything. He still hasn't. What went on then, because, everybody will think that's Satan, that's witchcraft, or that's a demon. So, yeah, experience with that. Okay. Did that make you want to talk about anything else, or you just want me to continue with the bullet points?
It's interesting that you say that you actually saw it yourself and like felt the heat, because I know when I was always like pulled up in the front of church and stuff, people would always say, oh, your hands are so hot. And I'm like, they're not. They're always cold to me.
That's
so like
crazy.
I never felt it. I never saw anything. So I was always like, I don't really get what's happening, but
it's like it's heat. It's like the energy is heat coming off of you. That's what I always said. I mean, we learned that in science that, conducted energy is heat. Even a lightning bolt, we know that that's really a form of fire, because every time it strikes something, it sets it on fire. So we know that. It's just crazy. It's crazy because like you feel like your hands is always cold, but whenever you're doing something, they feel like your hands is warm. So that's what it's like, as far as healing wise, that's crazy.
It's interesting that your past, like most people would say, oh, it's demon or like devil worship or something. It would be the same in the church that I went to, but it would be like there's a time and a place, and if it's not in that time and place that they want it to be, and if it's not in their structure, then it's the devil.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't make sense to me, because it's like it's the same thing if I go to a guy on the street, or if I invite someone for a Reiki session, then like it's the same thing. We're using the same gifts. It's just in a different setting, and people seem to like think that it's two different things, but it's not.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying, because then they go and they say, well, the Bible says that, don't any spirituality, anything like that. Oh, that's Satan. You can't mess with that. That's witchcraft. Even though they're like, it's like it's weird, because for you, they're not blocking your abilities. For me, it was a block. It was always block. Whatever I see in the future, block that. Putting hands on the people, block that. But I only did that hand thing one time, and that's only because I felt that pull like out of my chest. and it connects to that one person, and you know it's that person that you like, you know who it is. You know. Okay, let's talk about seeing pets, the deer for you.
Yeah, that was really like a big awakening moment in my life. I was about 18, and that same pull that you were talking about, I imagine like that's the same pull that I felt. It's like this, I don't know, soul pull, I guess you could call it. I couldn't sleep that night, and it was like maybe 3 a.m, and I was praying because I've been spiritual most of my life, so like that's what I resorted to when I couldn't sleep. I just pray, and I was like complaining, God this, God that, like just talking to whatever.
Right.
And I feel this pull to go outside. And at first I think, okay, that's crazy. Like, it's 3 a.m, everyone's asleep. No, like, why would I go outside? No reason to go outside. And I then finally was like, okay, fine. Because I felt this pull so strongly. I was like, I'll take my dog out so it won't look so weird. Like, just this girl standing in her pajamas outside. So I went to my dog. She was in the kennel in the living room. And I went up to her, and she like growled and snapped at me. And it was like, it was bizarre because like my dog has never done that before. And she was like the friendliest dog ever. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm not bringing my dog outside. So I go out onto the porch, and we have like this wraparound porch, and I'm just standing there at the steps, like waiting for something to happen. And I did have a flashlight with me, and I like whipped it around a couple times, and
So it was dark. Like, it was dark outside. It wasn't like you didn't even have a porch light, did you?
We didn't really live in the country, but like we had quite a bit of land, about like 1.5 acres. So like there were woods around, and there weren't really, I didn't put the porch light on or anything. Okay. Not worth it. I don't know why, honestly, I don't know why I didn't put the porch light on. Now that I think of it.
Well, I mean, you was more answering to what you was called to do.
Yeah.
And maybe it was like supposed to be just like that, you know. If you had to go out there with your flashlight, like. Okay.
So I looked to my left one last time to go to turn inside, and there is this deer, and like we had deer. It wasn't like bizarre to see deer in the yard, but this deer was within arm's length.
Gosh. That's just so crazy to me.
It was freaky because like when you have wildlife, it's one thing, you're like, oh, there's a deer across the yard, but like if it's right there in your face, all of a sudden, like.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, to be honest, like deers, when they're far away, they look okay. You know, when they're crossing the street, they're okay. I took a fishing trip with my friend Josh, and it chased us. You know, on the thing called the Katy Trail when I was in Sedalia.
It chased you?
It chased. I thought, aren't they supposed to run away? So I was like, grr, like growling, thinking of an animal sound that would make it run. But that thing did not run. We was on bikes trying to go fishing at this place called Cloverdale. And it was just like behind us. And then we heard it get real close, and it would just turned out to be a horse. But so that's what we thought. Oh, okay. We was just tripping. We thought we saw antlers. We're pretty sure we saw it there. Maybe it left, and a horse went by, right? We stayed fishing, and we heard this noise in the bushes, and you see these antlers sticking out, and we was like, no, it can't be. and it came out like just eating the leaves like it was nothing. So it's kind of scary, especially when you turn around and there he is.
Yeah.
And you can touch him.
I didn't touch it because it happened like super fast. Because the moment that I saw the deer, I also like, I can't say I heard, I didn't like hear it, but like it was almost like a vibration of sound. I don't know how to explain it, because like I almost heard, but it was in my mind.
Yes, I understand.
The deer talk.
What's that?
It said, "Fear not." Like,
did it like screaming at you, or
it like screamed it at me?
I think that deer was frustrated. I think he was tired of people being scared of him all the time.
and you know, naturally, I was scared out of my mind. So, like, I'm not listening to the deer that talks.
Yeah, like what? Do I look like a Dr.
Crazy. I'm scared. So I ran back inside and I was like just shaking and I was so scared. But it was funny because the years after that, as far as like anything I've encountered, I have not had any fear. Like before that, I was very like insecure, and I mean, I was just coming out of high school, so I didn't like talking to people. I had anxiety, and after that, I didn't. It's not that I didn't care, but like I didn't fear people because they seemed like me, more like me than they had before.
Like you was able to relate.
Yeah.
You like place yourself in another person's place to understand it better, like that.
Yeah, and that made me not fear things as much because I could relate so deeply with people.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so I guess my turn. Okay, so dealing with pets and ghosts and stuff, but your situation was not a paranormal ghost thing. That was real life, without astral projecting or anything. That was real life, and you woke up and just make sure people know that. Okay, so the ghost pets for me. Went to church, and I guess at some point we got to get to why we left Christianity. But yeah, because this really was. I put that in the title, so okay. So, but we're going to go through these few things, and then that'll be what we talk about, why we left, or what actually made us say we're not coming back. Okay. But for now, went to church, and there's some children there, and they asked if they're going to be able to see their dead dog and dead cats and their dead hamsters, and the church person or youth pastor said no, they don't have souls. And the kids started crying or whatever. And anyway, church ended, and I started. After that happened, this is where I first started seeing a Shih Tzu in my dad's house and a black and white cat. They would like run around the house, but they was ghosts because I didn't own them, so they would just run around the house like easy. And so I went back to the church and I told the kids that it's okay because I do see them sometimes, and everything will be all right, and you'll see them again. I mean, that's basically what I told them, and they pretty much calmed down. But another thing, they actually asked the kids, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And you know, some you know how some kids are. Oh, I want to be a giraffe. You know, they say stuff like that. I want to be Wolverine. You know, but then you have some realistic ones saying, "I want to be a fireman." You know, the classics, a nurse or doctor, and then the lady said, "That's wrong. You're supposed to say you want to be a pastor." Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And then again, like these kids be crying in that class. I'm saying like, y'all suck. Like, y'all make kids cry, and you want to tell them love, peace, and mercy and everything. And this, I think you're scarring these children. But it's like, what is my grown self doing in there? They didn't really have like levels. It's kind of like they had age groups, but you can go in different age groups. I don't know. Okay, so that's what happened with the ghost pets. Now, let's talk about for you the bagpipe guy.
Oh, okay. So my dreams. Well, that was a guy like in my dreams frequently.
Mm-hmm.
When I was very young, I mean like, when was the first time? 7 or 8, I must have been.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having my usual nightmares. I had a lot of nightmares as a child because I was abused, and I'm sure it just came up at night because that's when I could release. I don't know why. I had a lot of nightmares, and during one of my nightmares, I was like about to be eaten by this giant worm.
Wait a minute.
I laughed about it then because it was like so ridiculous to me.
I've seen that. I
you saw that on the post? Okay.
Yes. That thing looks like a slug and a leech. That thing was like scary looking. Ugh.
Yeah. so I was terrified, and this guy popped up, and he like the Scottish, super just stereotypical, got a kilt on, like red beard. Like this guy pops up and he's like, "Oh, this is easy. This is easy. Just like take your hand and make a light ball." And so I'm like, "What?"
That's amazing, though.
And so like I tried, and it was like just little sparks, and then finally I was able to like make a ball of light in my dreams. And every time I made that ball of light, I could throw it at things, and like I wouldn't have a nightmare that night.
That's powerful. You know, I'm gonna tell you how I always got nightmares, guaranteed. I'm gonna tell you how. I prayed to God to not have nightmares, and I would always get one, guaranteed. It sucked. Oh, but for you, I guess everything turned out fine. Okay, so that was like your little helper, like you had a helper.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, it's this blue guy. I'll tell you how I first met this blue guy. I had a whole bunch of people behind me. There was helicopters. They was carrying animals and whales and a whole bunch of people. And I was going up this one mountain. Okay. And off to the left of me was three cave holes. They went inside of another mountain. Except that mountain was like brown. But the mountain I'm climbing was like gray with these people. Anyways, some of the people go with these 3 people in cloaks. Can't see their face, nothing. They're just in a cloak, like a cloak, like off of like Kingdom Hearts or something. Like they're like, what do you call those? The Heartless or the Nobodies or whatever you call them from that game. Anyway, they went with them. Some people did, but I didn't know that until I got to the top. So I got to the top, and this blue guy beams down from space, and he comes on top of the hill, and there's a jar. This butterfly must be real or something, because I'm always seeing pictures of this same butterfly. There's a jar with this blue butterfly in it.
Oh my gosh. Sorry. Blue butterfly.
Yeah, it was like a shiny, it glowed. It was like
iridescent butterfly.
Yeah, something like that. You know, like how you turn on the computer or something, and you got that little LED light, that's what it was like. It was shining like that. Like a lightning bug, except it's blue, and its wings was freaking lighting up in blue. Yeah. Okay. So he beams down, and he says, "Look behind you." And I look behind me, and I didn't hardly have anybody still following me. So I looked this dream up. Okay. And when I looked up the dream, somebody else, who I don't know, who doesn't know me, and we never contacted each other, and I still haven't contacted that person, had the same dream, and he was saying he was following some guy up this mountain. I was that guy he was following up this mountain. And he was explaining the same thing. Like, there was these 3 people in cloaks and these 3 holes in this other mountain, and some people went over there, but I guess he stayed behind with me. But I don't know this dude, so I just looked it up, and that's what I found. And it freaked me out. Like, I'm like, aren't dreams supposed to be for us? Like, how are they connected? Like, how are we in the same place? I don't know you, but like, I don't know. Anyways, he holds out his hand and he says, "Are you ready to go?" And I'm like, "Okay, let's go." He just seemed like I could trust him. He's a blue guy. He looks a lot like, what's that dude's name? Manhattan off of Dr. Manhattan from it was a movie. I don't know. He was a blue guy that because he like turned into electricity or whatever, and he was naked on that movie. Oh no, I remember. The Watchmen. The Watchmen. Okay.
I never saw that.
Oh yeah, there's this like naked blue guy named Dr. Manhattan or something, and he like has all this electric energy, and he's blue, and he has like this third eye right here that's like a circle, like you can just tell us what it is about. But he was a lot like that guy, except this dude was all blue like that, and he wore a suit, and his suit was all blue. Anyways, when he said, "Are you ready to go on a mission? Are you ready to go?" I just held my hand out and I shook his hand, and we flew up. And then everybody else that was behind me flew up also, but they was all different colors. Like everybody's soul is like a silhouette, right? You know how you got like the sun behind you and you try to look at a person and it's all black. Okay, they're like that. It's a silhouette, but you can see through them. And some was pink, some was purple, like a whole bunch of different colors. And this guy shows up every now and then to come and get me, to go on another mission. And I say yes. And I either end up on an alien planet or I end up, when I say alien planet, I mean like it's a planet that has buildings and stuff like ours, but their vehicles are in the air, and like their vehicles don't look like ours. Some, but like the buses do. Like they got like a bus. I don't know. Anyways,
but it's like future or like it's definitely alien.
It's, you know what? Maybe it is future, because I've had to like deal with future stuff. Like there's this future G.I. Joe type of dude, and there's a woman and her girl and this baby girl. And I felt this dream twice. And the third time I got it right, the dream ended, and I never had that dream since. Like every night I had to repeat the same doggone dream until I completed the mission. Has that happened to you?
Yeah, that has happened to me.
This is just crazy. I love this. I love this. Okay. But yeah,
it's happened to me several times, so I can't really place a specific dream.
Oh.
But I've had dreams where it'll happen several times and then it'll happen in real life.
Ooh. That's different. You want to explain? That's different for me, because I'll have a quick dream and then it'll be realistic, and I'll wake up and the smell. If I can smell the scent in the air, I don't know what it is. I'm telling you, it's like there's a fragrance in the air. And if it's the same like in the dream, then everything's going to come true exactly right. Okay, so what was it for you? What was that like?
Sometimes it would be, well, some of it's personal, because like I dreamt several years before my mother divorced her ex-husband now. Mm-hmm. And at the time I was kind of like, I want her to divorce him. So this is just me like trying to make it happen.
Right.
But like I dreamt exactly how it happened. And I don't want to go into details just because it's like personal.
You don't have to.
But okay. Like it's something like that. And I would dream it like several times in a row, and like something would go different and they wouldn't divorce, and then like something would happen and then like they would, and yeah. So it was kind of the same thing, but
except yours actually happened.
Yeah. I get the fragrance. It's always oranges for me.
Oh, that's deep.
I don't know why that's deep. It's just
For me, that's deep because like you know what fragrance. I don't know which one. Like
oh,
like you actually have something that is consistent. That's why it's deep because it's spiritual. It's highly spiritual, I believe. No.
that's usually a sense that I'm dreaming of being someone else.
Oh my gosh, I've had those. Mm. I had those and it made sense later on. Well, so like past lives type of being someone else.
Sometimes I don't know. I don't like talking about this very much because like it's really bizarre, but like a couple times it has been me dreaming of other people's memories and I'm them.
What? That's like an early life review for what though? That doesn't make sense.
I know I'm still trying to figure out because I just started doing that like 2 years ago. So I'm
I
not going to go into that.
Yeah, that's crazy because I'm sitting here like a life review is not supposed to happen until after you've already passed. So, but we don't got all the answers. Okay, so okay, we talked about the pipe guy, the blue guy. Okay, what about training powers in your dreams? Like, how did you train to get powers in your dreams, or like how to fly or anything like that?
Yeah, I had a hall and I could progress onto the next room when I learned what was in that room.
That's unique. I like that.
So like I would go to the first door. It was like a wheat field, like because you talked about grass, and I was just sitting there smiling because I was like, oh, the field. Everyone has the field, right?
Right.
But probably not.
Right. And it's like, that's just crazy. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But like that was, and it was funny because like the flying thing, most people were like, oh yeah, I just started flying in my dreams. And I was like, I had to like work at it.
Yes.
I don't get like I would be like rotating my arms and like kicking up and like stay up for a little time and then come back down, go even further and come back down. And and well, for whatever reason there was like power lines.
I know,
At a
right?
certain point,
Okay.
and like you kind of use those to push yourself up further.
That's different than what I did. That's cool.
Yeah, but and then the next room, I call it now. I used to call it like the breath of life room, but it was just full of prana.
Ooh.
I've suffered from asthma most of my life. So like that was a room that was very like helpful to me. And this was like within meditation, not always in my dreams.
Oh.
So I'm sorry that's different.
Yeah.
But I kind of place it because I would be in like a dreamlike state. So and sometimes I would dream about the rooms, but it was more prominent within like meditations.
Whoa. You had some deep experiences.
Yeah.
The deepest experience I've ever had with meditation was when I was 16 at my dad's house, and I saw this cartoon, The Last Airbender, Avatar, and I decided to meditate too. So when I did it, everybody was telling me that I was asleep, but to me, I was meditating. But they're telling me that I was snoring and everything, but I was like, that's impossible because like I had my back up against the bunk bed sitting on the floor. I'm like, that's impossible because I can hear everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know I'm not asleep. And they're like, oh, well, you was like, like I was asleep. Like my head was like, but I didn't feel like that. I thought I was doing this. I was setting up, with my forearm, or my wrist over my knees. That's the only crazy experience I ever had with meditation. Now, when I try to do it, I'm always feeling something's around me, and it's just the hardest thing for me to break through that feeling that something's right here, or like something is going to touch me. It's like I know that something is going to touch my shoulder, and I'm going to feel it, and I'm going to freak the F out. And it's like,
before you do it, you should imagine like a barrier around yourself.
okay,
and
maybe
like
that's my issue.
and if I feel something like something's watching me or whatever, I'm more curious than like freaked out. Because
Like, that's my
like,
biggest hump to get over.
I go, I want to know who that is, and if they're mean, they need to get out.
Like I sage now, but it's like that's my biggest hump, because even trying to astral project, like I've tried that, and I'll get the sleep paralysis, but then I'm gonna tell you what happened. One time I got the sleep paralysis, and I was in my bedroom on the bed, and I instantly felt or sensed, like it's like I sensed it within the air that there was 4 tall beings that was all black, because I couldn't see. So I just kind of like, how your eyes is closed and like you see a light, like you're in front of a light and your eyes are closed and you go like this, but you see the shadows moving. It's a lot like that. Okay. And I was like, nope. So I started using this technique from the Diamond Net, where you have to take your abdomen and tighten it to get out of sleep paralysis. And that's what I would do. Or I would,
I've never heard that one. Huh.
Yeah, to get out of sleep paralysis, you tighten your abdomen, and you just squeeze it.
I always heard like wiggle your fingers or.
I see. That's the first thing I try to do. It didn't work for me. I either have to do that, and if the tightening my stomach doesn't work, then I have to do the breathing, because I still have the control of my breathing. I just breathe faster, like that, but through my nose, because I can't even move my lips, because I'm like, that's what I want, like that. So, man. Okay, so there was that. Another time I was here in the front room, I tried to astral project, got to sleep paralysis, and a baby came out of the room, in the bedroom. I only got one bedroom apartment, so it's like one only door was going to come out of. And it crawled on top of the bed, and it sat on top of my chest. And I was like, nope. So I started the breathing technique. It was like trying to get through those little things. Another time I tried, I laid on the floor this time. And the person that was in my house, my lady, she was gone. Well, I went through sleep paralysis, and all of a sudden, she was there. She was here. And she like grabbed my ankle, and I could feel this feeling, something grabbing my ankle. And I was like, okay, don't freak out. It's just grab your ankle. I waited. Nothing else happened. I was like, okay, I'm done. Get off of me. And that was it, because I wanted to really try to go through astral projecting. But the only successful time I got through the sleep paralysis was when I felt nothing was around me. I was in the bed. And, of course, I had my big freaking amethyst crystal that's only about as big as my fist.
Nice.
Hold on. So I had these 2 things. So I had these, right? And it was under my...
Is that selenite?
Yeah.
I have one like that, but it's like a pill shaped where... I don't know where it is. It's somewhere around here. I love that.
It makes me, that was actually make me feel happy, the selenite. It's, I don't know, the roundness, the sphere of it. I don't know, maybe it is the crystal itself. But I went through it. And then, like, have you ever been on that carnival ride that's like an alien ship and it spins you really fast and you get sucked to the back like this?
Oh, yeah.
That's what my bed did. And I couldn't freaking move. My bed it just spun so fast. And here's the thing. I popped out. I don't remember popping out of my body. None of that. What happened is that my bed still spun and I couldn't move. And it was like, yeah, right. And then I popped out into a house. My bed like flipped me out, turned over, covers came off and everything. And I ended up in this house. So 50 Cent was there. I'm not even a 50 Cent fan. I don't even really listen to rap music for real. I really don't. And I'm like, why am I here? and there's another person. I saw this black figure knocking on a screen door, and I'm like, first thing I thought, that's got to be a dark entity. So then I was like, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to just like say disappear and put my hand on it and say disappear. But it was another 50 Cent coming through, and they're fighting, talking about, I'm the real one, you're just a copy, or you're a clone, or whatever. And I was like, okay, what the heck? So I was like, I put myself, well, he was like fighting, whatever, and I put my hand on his back. He was wearing a white shirt, and I was like, disappear, right? And it didn't work. And I was like, ooh, that must have been the real one, because it didn't work. That's my reaction. So then I guess he like beat him up or whatever, and like he like disappeared. And then I was like, you seem really stressed. I'm going to share. This is why I said I'm going to share the love energy I have for my mom with you. So the moment I did that, like a circle appeared on me, and these lines went like this all the way to my hands, and it's like a stick figure kind of. It's like made a stick figure outline or inline on my body parts, and it was white. So then like I gave him a hug. And then he said, oh, there's a lot of pain in there. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to share the pain. I was just trying to share the love that I have with my mom to make you feel better. And then he started crying and he felt better. Then I woke up, but I don't remember slamming back into my body. But I knew that something was different, because how I got into that sleep paralysis where I was spinning, I used the holding on to your last image method. So the last image that, you know, when you sleep and you get those images, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it was a black and white striped boomerang. I don't know. I don't even own a boomerang. Okay. But that was the image. I held on to that image, and going through that, that's how I knew that something was different. Cause I had my consciousness there, like where I can actually remember methods and remember what to do. Like I had that, you know, like how you don't have in dreams, how in your dreams are just instinct. Well, like, that's what happened. I don't know if it's a lucid. I'm gonna just call it a lucid dream, because I know what that astral projection, where that felt like. That felt like, or maybe I did die. I don't know. Felt like I died. But yeah, that's how I did it. I just held on to the image of a boomerang, and then I saw it floating, and I grabbed it, and I was like, oh, it worked, because the boomerang. Anyway, that's how I knew. Okay. Oh man, let's get to. Oh, actually, just real quick, I want to tell you how I learned to fly. I went into this cathedral church, right? And they all started chasing me. So I ran out to church, and they thought I had a key, like the Vatican key to like all the artifacts and like all this stuff. I'm like, I don't have the key, you know? And so like I ran out and I just started flapping. I went from flapping to, you know, trying to hover and training in my dreams in like this grassy area. And then, like you said, that's what's crazy. Okay. Okay. Is there anything? Okay. I'm pretty sure that's where we was pretty much got at before. So now we're going to go with some other things. Okay. So let's talk about, what do you say to like people who come up to you with saying, come join my Bible study? What do you say to them now?
I haven't actually experienced that since I left the church. What? Surprisingly.
But it's been 2 years since you've left, isn't it?
It's been about 4 now.
Oh, 4 years. Okay.
Yeah. And I was living in a fairly large city, so like it's easy to avoid people. You just walk on the other side of the street. But like I guess if somebody did come up to me, I don't know. I'm very open. I would half like want to join their Bible study just to like
be respectful.
I mean, actually not to be respectful, to like mess things up a bit. Like,
oh, you come and do some damage. You come and share a little bit of information, make some people.
I mean, yeah, I would want to reach out, and I would see that as an opportunity to reach out to those people, because like, I mean, I'd be kicked out of the Bible study quickly, but
But you're right in doing so. You know why? Because people like me wanted a way out, but I couldn't put the pieces together to get out. I wanted out bad, and I just couldn't put the pieces together to leave. I couldn't when I was stuck in that stuff, and it was like giving me nightmares of. I didn't. Okay.
You know, actually, something similar to that did happen before I moved, because I moved from Michigan to all the way to the other side of the country in Canada.
Okay.
And before I left, I randomly met this girl at Panera. Our orders got mixed up because both our names was Brianna. Both of us had blonde hair.
What?
And I was like, we decided to sit down because we're like, oh, we're Brianna's. Like, we gotta.
Right.
So we start talking, and her story is the same, except she didn't leave the church. And she is like, she wanted to stay. And I was like, this is weird because she's like taking my place because she was going to the church that a lot of my friends were going to. And she then was like, oh, you should come back. You should come back since we know all these same people. And I was like...
She tried to get you on inclusion.
Yeah. So I was kind of like, well, I will come to church and then I'm moving because I'm moving.
Right.
Like, I can't go.
Like, I can't stay, you know?
But I mean, I was like respectful and I was like, I don't believe the same way and this is why. And like, we had a decent conversation, but there was still that like weird pull that I felt. Like people trying to constantly pull me back in when I was just, I didn't want to be pulled back in.
I understand. Like, no one wants to, like, go back to, I call them Christian bullies. No one wants to go back to being Christian bullied. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't like that because we know when you hurt us, you're going to go repent and you're going to say sorry to God or Jesus, but not us. And we're the ones that stays hurt. You know, it's not cool. Okay. So I'll talk about, I see. Okay, so I went on break from work. This guy came up and he was like, you want to come to my Bible study? You know how they got that little pamphlet? And he tried to hand me one. And I said, no, I'm done with that Bible, dude. I was like, I've been going for too long. Been going 14 years. I'm done. And he was like, see, I was expecting him to just say, oh, okay, thanks a lot, and then leave. But he didn't. He sat down and he goes, so, do you don't believe in God no more? I'm like, yeah, I still believe in God.
Did this guy know you?
No. This is my first time meeting this dude. He's like an Indian dude. India. I don't know. I'm not up to date on racial slurs. So I don't want to say anything racist right now because I don't want to say the wrong thing. So that's what he told me. His words, I'm an Indian guy and I was Hindu and now I'm a Christian. So he came to me with this. I had a personal experience with Jesus. That's what he said. And I said, oh, really? Because please tell me how you had a personal experience with Jesus. Because I'm hearing people say that all the time. Jesus revealed himself to them. I was like, well, I sat there in my front room at 1 o'clock in the morning for 2 years straight. I don't think I only missed 3 times because I was too dang tired to do so. I think I only missed 3 times. And I sat there and I said, with the Bible in front of me, I said, okay, Jesus, go ahead and reveal yourself. And I even offered up to just do like they did in the Bible. Send a cherubim, send a seraphim, send a messenger. If you too scared to show up, send me that and tell me what they got to say to you. Because Pastor was always trying to tell me that, oh, God gave me a message for you. Instead of God giving a message directly to me. Like I can't hear.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? So I did that and that didn't happen. And he's like, oh, so who you think God is then? I was like, God would be my mama. The Bible says, in Genesis, it automatically tells you, let's make men and women in our image. Okay, then you read on later on and it tells you that the image of God is the firstborn of every creature. I'm the firstborn of my mama. That means I'm the image of God, which makes my mama my God. And this dude said, act like he didn't just hear what I just told him. He's like, no, Jesus is God. And I'm sitting here like, come on, dude. If Jesus is going to be on the cross and he's praying, you think he praying to himself? Do you sit down and you go and you pray to yourself? And then this dude is like, but you know what? Well, I had that experience, and are you going to come to Bible study? Then he just kept saying that. And then this is when I broke out the phone. And I was like, I said, look, dude, let me tell you something. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read to you what I read this guy. Okay? Let's see. Oh, how much time you got?
Me?
Yes.
I got all the time in the world, but like, how long do you want this?
I ended it. I don't know. I was only planning to go till like 10 or 10:30 or something like that. But well, for me, so it's 8:25 right now for me. So
okay, it's 6:25 for me.
Okay, so about 2 more hours. Okay, anyways, this is what I told him. I said this, right? I'm trying to do a Spitfire so we can get to these different things, okay? Because you said you had more stuff, and I want to get to those more things, okay? Anyways, I'm just going to go quick. Okay, so this is what I said. I was like, I said John 19:29-34. It says 29. Now there was set a vessel full of vinegar, and they filled a sponge with vinegar and put it upon hyssop and put it to his mouth. I asked him, what is hyssop? And he was just like, oh, it's a perfume. And I was like, you're only half right. So then I said the definition of hyssop is a small bushy aromatic plant of the mint family, the bitter minty leaves of which are used in cooking and herbal medicine. I'm like, so if Jesus is up there to die, what are you giving medicine for? He's up there to die. What you want to do that for? Then it says, in biblical use, a wild shrub of uncertain identity, whose twigs were used for sprinkling and ancient Jewish rites of purification. What you want to purify him for? The dude's up there to die.
Yeah.
Sounds to me like you take medicine, and he was like, oh, but that stuff is for embalming the dead. I'm like, he's like, well, you got to be alive to drink it. I'm like, yeah, that's right. So he's not dead. You have to be alive to drink medicine. You can't give a dead person medicine. And so I kept going with it, right? I was like, where's it at? Okay, I said, when Jesus therefore had received the vinegar, he said, it is finished. And he bowed his head and gave up the ghost. And he's like, what is the ghost? And I was like, what is the ghost? The ghost could be, it's supposed to say it's a ghost. What is the ghost? You don't believe in ghosts. You don't believe in ghosts. Y'all think it's demons, and you don't want to say that about Jesus, do you? And he was like, well, why don't you keep going? Yeah, why don't I keep going? So then, he quit that real quick because they're like, y'all don't believe in ghosts. So what do you mean gave up the ghost? You don't believe in that. So he was like, anyway, I said, the Jews, therefore, because it was the preparation that the body should not remain upon the cross on that Sabbath day, for that Sabbath day was a high day, besought Pilate that their legs might be broken and that they might be taken away. Then came the soldiers and brake the legs of the first and of the other which was crucified with them. But when they came to Jesus and saw that he was dead already, now what did I just read? I just read that he drank medicine. They're telling you that he pretty much passed out. They gave him some stuff and they passed out. Vinegar will make you pass out. Held that stuff to your nose, please. It'll be just like off of them movies where they sneak up behind you with that napkin and hold it up like this and you pass out.
To vinegar.
For real, you pass out. Okay, so
I put vinegar on my salads.
I mean, that up to your nose, I know. It's be like what I'm telling you, be like that. Anyway, but they put it upon his mouth that he drank the medicine or whatever. He drank that. Anyways, let's go. Where was I? Oh, okay. And they didn't break his legs, but one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side, and forth came there out blood and water. Okay, then I was like, so 19, John 19:38-39. So, and after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Jesus, but secretly for fear of the Jews, besought Pilate that he might take away the body of Jesus, and Pilate gave him leave. He came therefore and took the body of Jesus, and there came also Nicodemus, which at the first came to Jesus by night. Okay, another dude, and brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100-pound weight. So this is where the definition of myrrh: a fragrant gum resin obtained from certain trees and used especially in the Near East in perfumery, medicines, and incense. Now aloes, a fragrant heartwood of a tropical Asian tree. The resin obtained from the aloes wood used in perfume, incense, and medicine. And then he was like, well, how that prove that Jesus lived? I'm like, oh, I'm going to show you. And I showed him right here. I said, but Mary stood without at the sepulchre weeping. Okay, and as she wept, she stooped down and looked into the sepulchre. That's John 20:11-18. And all this is King James Version, because you know how they always say, if it ain't King James Version, it ain't right. They always say that. Anyways, 12. And seeth two angels in white sitting, the one at the head and the other at the feet, where the body of Jesus had lain. And they say unto her, Woman, why weepest thou? She saith unto them, Because they have taken away my Lord, I know not where they have laid him. And when she had thus said, she turned herself back and saw Jesus standing, and knew that it was Jesus. So, oh no, I'm sorry. And she knew not that it was Jesus. Now, you can't get any more specific than this. So there's no, it's taken out of context. It says right here, okay, look. It says, Jesus saith unto her, how's she gonna say that? How he gonna say that if he supposed to be dead? Come on now, this dude was tripping. Like, so anyways, it says, Jesus said unto her, touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father, but go to my brethren and say unto them, I ascend unto my Father and your Father, and to my God and your God. Mary Magdalene came and told the disciples that she had seen the Lord, and that he had spoken these things unto her. So why was it that Jesus said, touch me not? Because he just got beaten down. And he, of course, he pled, please don't tell him I'm alive, because they'll kill me for sure then. Yeah, he was dressed as a gardener. Okay? That's what it says, like, she mistaken him to be a gardener. Anyways. Okay. That's it. Also, there was a part in there about, he said it was going to be like the life of Jonah, or the prophecy of Jonah, or something like that. Where we know that Jonah got swallowed by the whale for 3 nights and 3 days, right? But he lived. That's what Jesus said. Like, he said the same thing. It's going to be like, just like the time of Jonah. Okay, so that's what I told this guy. And then he's just like, well, you just can't take parts of the Bible and just use those. And I was like, that's right, which is what you're going to do in that Bible study. You're going to do the same thing, because I've already went to a Bible study for 2 years. And it always starts somewhere else. We never go through the whole book from beginning to end. Never. You know why? Because you're going to get to a verse that's going to say...
That contradicts the verse before, or...
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're going to get to... Oh, boy, let me get to the where we see. Let me see. I'm gonna tell you what it's gonna be like, cause like, I thought I had this like on a quick kind of sayings or whatever, but okay. Anyway, I'm just gonna say it. So you know how there's a section that says like with Jesus, it was like many shall come in my name claiming I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Huh?
Are you talking about where the guy tried to cast the demons out and they said, oh, well, who are you? We know who Paul is, but... Or are you talking about something different?
No, I'm talking about where he actually tries to warn people. Okay, look. See this Bible? This mine. So when I wasn't scared of Christianity anymore, wasn't scared of losing Jesus and going to hell, I actually was able to open this and study it and tab it. Because before, I didn't want to open this Bible. You know why? Because I didn't want to hear not one more freaking thing that they was going to tell me I couldn't do. Something else that was going to make me want to just off myself. and just say, screw it. I'm not giving this God, this Jesus, a punching bag anymore. You can't play with my life anymore. I'm done. How about that? I'm dead. How about that? But anyways, that's what it looked like. Okay.
I'm curious. Did you use this is one thing I really got into is actually looking at the original Hebrew and Greek, because it makes things, I mean, it like brings to light things that are completely opposite sometimes of what people in the church say. When you look at like Greek and Hebrew words.
Well, that makes sense because that goes all the way back to, oh man, what's that guy? Ptolemy. I think Ptolemy, Second Philadelphus. That dude with the Septuagint. And it goes all the way back to that, where he was this Greek guy who conquered his way onto like the Egyptian throne and became a pharaoh that way. And then that's where, like, Septuagint is supposed to mean 70 or something like that, or LXX, something. And he made the first like writings of the Bible, but not this, because this is the King James Version. The only version that we know, that you and me, that we learned and were taught, was the 1604, 1611 King James Version, which King James is a Mason. So if you don't believe,
actually, because in the church that I went to, they had Torah classes. You know the Torah, the Jewish Bible, it's the first 5 books of the Bible.
Okay.
But they went through like every single Hebrew word. Okay,
but that's what I'm saying, is that they hit supposedly. So
like the King James Version, I never was told that it was like the proper version. It was always the original Greek or Hebrew. But even then, there was like contradictions from what people were saying versus what they were reading. And so I'm like, wait, but if you actually look at the Hebrew word, it means something completely different. And they're just using this word in the place of it.
Yeah, that's because the thing is with this guy, he just wrote stuff to fit the times of what's going on during that time, which is why you can end up having slavery in here and stuff like that. Because that's what was going on. And he had to just fit the times because slavery was already going on. It was already too late. So this wasn't even taught to the people that they enslaved. It was the codexes that taught into those ancient African places that, it was the codexes which we don't know. So that's different, that they actually taught you the Hebrew stuff.
When I mentioned like doing that with the whole Bible, people started to get upset.
Because it didn't match.
Well, because they're like, oh, no, you're only supposed to do it with the Torah. Because it's, like, proper with the Torah. Because, like, that is the Jewish sacred Bible. And, like, I'm like, but why aren't we looking at it in the whole Bible? Because, like...
Exactly. We have to look at the whole thing.
I don't know. People start getting angry for... more racist reasons. I'd rather not go into that because people who are Islamic, they only read it in the original Arabic. They read the oh my goodness, what is the book? The Quran. They typically only read it in the original Arabic because that original Arabic makes more sense. Like, I mean, like for common reasons, like because they don't want to like
they don't want to like taint.
They don't want to change it.
Yeah, but that's perfect because
I was saying that about the Bible, people got upset because that's what Muslims say about the Quran, and like I don't understand because I'm such a loving, like accepting person. So I'm like, why would you like connect that in your brain? I don't know.
They want to pass it off as the inerrant, word of God and things like that. And this is one of the things that they do. But I mean, wow. I mean, that's different because that you just said that. They actually taught you Hebrew and Greek.
Hebrew, because that's the Old Testament was originally written in Hebrew, and the New Testament was originally written in Greek.
Okay.
Um,
You're right, and I want to say that there is a book called Hebrew is Greek, and it's not easy to get. It's $4,000 because he proves it that Hebrew is Greek. The guy does, yeah, and they don't want any old Joe Schmo to get that, or even, yeah, they don't want that. So that's why it's $4,000. Yeah, that's why I tried, but I don't think the libraries wanted to spend that cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what I told the guy. The guy was like, come to my Bible study. I was like, I said, it said, and he sat upon the mount of Olives and came unto them privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall, what?
Oh,
yeah, when shall they, yeah, okay. Yeah, where he said, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said unto them, this is the sign. Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Pastors, I said, this is what's going to happen, because you're going to say in the name of Jesus Christ, and your Bible just told me that you're going to deceive me if you say that. And this is what's pissing this guy off. Like, dude, don't look at me. I didn't make this stuff up. King James did. Like, he wrote this stuff. Like, and he's looking at me like, well, I got a King James Bible too. And he's got his phone out, you know, trying to follow me and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, that's what it say. So why would I do that if you, I'm like, he was saying that Jesus was Christ already to me. Like, it just got done saying that if you say that, it says that you're going to deceive many people. So Jesus is sitting there saying that he's not Christ. He's like, so who's Christ then? I was like, well, he's a Christ figure. And there's many different Christ figures like Horus. And, you know, now I went on like, you know, Krishna or whatever and the other ones, but I don't know all 16. Like, I don't really have to know all 16. I just got to know that there is. And he's telling me like, well, I'm Hindu. And that's not what things is about.
Wait. He then told you that he was Hindu after inviting you to go to his Bible study. And that was
I know. Because when he came up to me, he was telling me about how he's Christian.
Yeah.
And trying to invite me to get the Bible study, I know. And I told him that, right? So then he's like, so why don't you? He's like, so you're just not going to believe because of that? And I was like, dude, do you even realize like the guy you're serving, like what he did? And so he's all like, oh, well, what you going to tell me? So I'm sitting here like, okay, let me get to, where is it at? 1 second. Oh, here it is. I was like, so the guy that you like, the guy that you praising, okay? I'm going to tell you what it says. I form the light and create darkness. Okay, this is Isaiah 45, verse 7, right? I make peace and create evil. So who creates evil? We're taught that it's Satan, right? Doesn't Satan create evil? Let's see what it says. So I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. That's who you're serving, buddy. So if he can create evil, why don't he just uncreate it? Can't your God do everything? And this dude's getting all pissed. So then I started telling him about all my abuses I went through. I'm like, if their stuff was real and your God was real and all this, and if prayer worked, we've got all these videos of police shootings and school shootings, and I ain't seen no Jesus come yet. All these people praying, and I ain't seen no Jesus. I ain't seen any angels, nothing, none of that. I was like, now, when I was being abused, I prayed a lot. Never happened. Jesus never came to save my sister when she was being raped. And that lasted for like an hour. And I sat there and I prayed. And I prayed the whole time. And it got worse. And, you know, the sounds got weirder and the banging on the wall. And she came out and she was bloody and had, you know, bruises and stuff like that. And no Jesus and no angels came to save her. If I hadn't have been told prior, I would have went in there and took my little baseball bat, my little skinny baseball bat, and hit him with it. And that's the only thing I had. But because I didn't do that, I now have that stain inside of me forever. and so does my sister. But I guess she just chooses to ignore it. And to be honest with you, totally honest, when my dad decided to give me up and my sister up to my mom when I was 16, no, when I was 17, I ended up sleeping for 48 hours. And my consciousness, I don't think I astral projected, but my consciousness was a little like flying, floating around, checking on my mom, seeing what was going on. She called the ambulance. They checked on me. I didn't wake up. I was like unconscious. That was the first rest I ever got, for real, in 10 years. Because when I tell you that even at nighttime, like, because I got abused with no rest, okay? At nighttime, I'd be getting hit in the face, or I'd be getting raped by that guy or whatever. And these are the things that would happen. So that was my first time. I've never slept like that ever. I've never been at peace. And I would tell you what happened. I couldn't remember things. My abuse got put away. I'm gonna tell you how it resurfaced. It resurfaced when I went to like a relationship counseling thing. And she got on the subject of, please tell me about your childhood. And then I started, it's like I'm reaching into the cat bag and I'm just pulling out all these baggage. I'm pulling out all this baggage. And she listened for like 2 minutes and told me to stop. After that, I went through flashbacks. I went through feeling the pains in my knees at work from, the board that he had, the 2x4 board with the nails where you like puncture your hands, puncture your arms, puncture your legs, And he would be real funny with it too. Like he'd have like, that's abuse stuff. That's not paranormal, spiritual Christianity stuff. Anyways, so that's what I told him. And that situation was done. I told him all that stuff. And you know what he did? He just said, so are you coming to the Bible study or not? I was like, you know what? Take this thing back. No. Because you have zero love in your heart, zero compassion, and this is why I'm leaving. That's why I left. I'm gone. Okay. 8:46. What time you got?
6:46.
Okay, cool. Okay. Did you want to say anything to any of that? Before I go on to the next topic thing?
I kind of was thinking about just why I left the church.
Okay, we can just.
I wouldn't mind if we just go into that.
All right, let's do that.
So for me, because when you were talking about like, well, these are the things that God does that you believe in to that guy, and I was thinking about like I went through abuse also, and during my childhood, and I just saw like mean-spirited people who were in the church, and I was just thinking like, how can these people serve somebody who's so, I mean, not evil, but like just so imperfect and unloving and like bipolar.
Right, that's what it seems
quite
like.
honest, because like on one hand it's like, oh, he's loving, but only in condition.
Right.
Like
he's supposed to love you unconditionally, but this dude's got all these conditions, and you don't know. If you mess up, and you didn't know that you messed up, he's okay with punishing you, even if you totally innocent. Like if somebody right now goes out and fornicates, and if God held up that rule, guess what's going to happen? All of St. Louis right now be dead. The whole city would get jacked up, and we wouldn't know. We were sitting here, could eat a sandwich, or there could be a lady giving birth right now to a new baby that's totally innocent, and that baby wouldn't be saved because the whole place would be set on fire, all because one person, had a Christmas tree or some bull crap.
Yeah,
so that's how that guy is like. So go ahead, Miss.
So I kind of concluded in my mind. I was like, well, if this being exists, they can't be perfect, and they can't be loving. So I don't want to worship that. Honestly,
You're right.
I don't want to worship that, and it it was funny when I finally made that decision. I'm like, I even said, I was kind of like hung up the phone. I'm like, hey God, I'm done.
Hey, you got room in your closet for what? To hang this up. Click.
But it's like, it was kind of hard. I had the hardest time. That was 2014. And I, like, after I decided to do that, like, just officially, consciously, like, I am not going to go to church. I'm not going to pray on my knees every single day trying to wait for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had this just weight off my shoulders.
Isn't that great?
I was just like, I don't have to like push for this anymore because I don't care.
That's awesome. No, it's such a good feeling. Go ahead.
But at the same time, I went through the hardest time I've ever been through. I slept in my car for about 2 months because I was like homeless.
Oh, you went through that too.
I lost my job. I lost both my jobs. I'm
sorry about all.
I was like working 70 hours a week when I finally like got jobs.
Mm.
And it was a mess. Such a mess. But I felt at peace in that moment.
So basically, like the people, so what? I mean, that's like the church, some of the church people helped hire you.
Mom, I had like a kind of tense relationship with my mother just because of like the abuse. She didn't do anything a lot of times. So like I had a tense relationship with her, and she ended up kicking me out. And then I went to the church, and this lady said that I could stay in her place, and then like the rate kept going up, and like she never said what she was going to do. Like she said one thing and then did the other, and then like, so I go, okay, I can't live in these conditions. So like technically I had a place to stay, but it wasn't a nice place, and I much rather stay. I wanted to stay in my car versus staying on her couch.
Okay.
So like I say I was homeless, like, because
you're right. That is homeless. You don't have a house or a roof with 4 walls to cook food or use a microwave or have a refrigerator.
Yeah.
So yes. Okay.
So
because I went through that before too. So go ahead.
But luckily I worked at a restaurant, so like I got free food.
Very good.
But
that's one way to make things work.
Yeah, no, but I finally had to it took about 4 months to actually find a job. And those were the like few months that I was staying in my car and like just looking for a job.
You see that right there, because having that experience, like, it's weird that happened to you. You see, that's what my pastor was hoping happened to me. He was hoping for it. He was like, you're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your apartment. You're going to lose everything because you turned your back on God. But I'm like, well, I spent all this time trying to find God and I never did. So, or he never showed up, or he just watched me writhe in pain. So, anyways, when I was 8, ended up, was I 8? Yes, I was 8. When I was 8, ended up getting homeless because my mom's job went out of business at that location. It was like an office depot, and ended up sleeping in the cars. And then I had to sleep. I rationed this cheese puff, a bag of cheese puffs. And so I know what you're talking about. And then like you get so hungry that every little rabbit, every little bird, you just think, if I can just catch that and just cook it, I'd have something to eat. I couldn't believe I looked at stuff like that. But your hunger, it just talks to you. It makes you think those things. It's not like you can wait for food to grow in a garden or plant a garden somewhere,
With me, it was French fries.
Oh, really?
Cause like I would take the like end batch, take the
Mm-hmm.
French fries home, and I'd like ration them. I can't
Yeah,
eat fries now because I'm like,
it's like so. It's like the stuff puts a stain on you. And you know the thing is that wouldn't have been the perfect time for this Jesus to reveal himself. And like I get so sick of
yeah,
people saying
because
that.
I was like in that moment, and I'm like, okay, God, I'm going through tribulation. Like, you're gonna show up now. But
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I'm done.
Yeah, right.
So I was just,
So what? So if you really want me back in the church, you really want me to come
yeah, I was
back
like, if
and
you want me back, like, go ahead.
go ahead,
Go
right?
ahead and reveal yourself. Go ahead. And um, what was I gonna say? Man, I had something to say before you started talking about being homeless.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I forgot. It's fine.
Okay, so I want you to tell me the one thing, because then I'll talk about me why I end up full, like what did it for me, or the three top things that did it for me that made me leave, and I did not return. So what was the trigger where you said I will not return after this?
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
So, what happened with me? Because you said, oh, you were reaching out and he never revealed himself. To me, the whole deer experience was God. Like when I experienced that, I was like, oh, God's telling me something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so after that, I got the feeling that I had to like move west, move west, move west. And so I found a church and I started ministering with my art. So the churches I went to, okay. So the churches I went to, there's like dancing and the like you imagine Holy Roller kind of like I don't know what you mean if you know what that means.
I don't know what that is. Now
They
I'm
have
sorry.
flags, they have dancing, they and nowadays they're doing like art more.
So
So
it's like
like
a concert, or
there'll be a person painting up front.
okay, like a fair, kind of.
Kind of, and it's usually related to like the message that the pastor gives.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's a bit different. That's why I've been trying to find people who have experienced it, but it's hard because it's such a unique
That's like some
thing.
type of prep rally thing. Or pep rally. I don't know
But
how
it's
you
in a
put that.
sanctuary. Like it's in a church.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, because like they'll have different events at the church. So I would just call it an event. It's just an event for me. Like it's a special event that they're having at the
I guess they
church.
call them like conferences or
Oh, okay. I see what you're
like
saying.
yeah, no, but so I was doing that and then when I was there, they found out that the pastor was embezzling money for years. The main pastor. So the elders decided to kick the pastor out. And that in turn shut down a lot of like programs because there was like a K through 12 school that was with the church.
Okay.
That was associated. They ended up closing down the school.
So that if they do that, they really messed up.
I was staying with people who were working at the school.
Okay.
They couldn't afford to have me in their house anymore, and I couldn't afford to pay more rent.
Okay.
So I had to move back. When I moved back, I went to my old church, and guess what?
What?
The pastor was kicked out by the elders.
Oh. So now what?
I was like, this is when I was experiencing back at home, I was like, what is wrong? Like, what is wrong with these people? Why are you kicking, like, because with that experience, he wasn't embezzling money. I think they just like disagreed on stuff, or I don't know.
Now, see, that's weird because they kind of treated him like he's the president, but there's the people behind him that can veto and kick him out and whatever. You know,
Yeah.
that's what's kind of weird because that would take me off because ain't the pastor supposed to be anointed?
Twice because I was like devastated the first time because I lost money, I lost an experience, I had to move away from friends that I made. Like I hated it. It really broke me. And when I came back to my church, I'm not hearing any support from these people because they're too busy arguing with each other.
So there's no, oh, I'm gonna help you here. I can help you with groceries. None of that, right?
Yeah, no, it was like, oh no, like they're too busy arguing with each other. So I was just like, is this really, like, these are people that I used to look up to. This is just, and so I thought to myself, I said, if this perfect, loving God brought me out there, first of all, why?
Right.
Like what? Just to have me come back? Like if he's all knowing and all like caring and stuff, then why would he do this to me?
And all loving.
He flipped me back and forth and have to watch people fight about insignificant like things.
While you're going through what you're going through and there's no love, peace, and mercy offered to you.
Yeah. So I'm like, if either like God made a mistake or he's not a loving God. So I'm like, okay, either he's not perfect or he's like evil and mean or mean-spirited. So I'm like, one or the other, I'm in the wrong apparently, according to the church.
Right. Because God's perfect and you know he's
God's perfect and loving. But like everything I'm seeing is saying the opposite.
Exactly. And that's what always kills me when they said, I'm gonna show you proof that all that stuff is real. Cause look around you. And that's what they say. Like that's a good thing. So when you look around you, it's not a good thing. So that's telling me that it's not real. Same for you, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was like where you said
like brightening the conversation a little bit. I look around and I like to see the best in people.
Right.
And like I like to look at the bright side and look at the light, and like I think there's people out there who can honestly bring light to a conversation and bring light to any situation. And I think you were one of those people, because like you've been through what you've been through, and like you're here trying to encourage people just like I want to.
Yeah. But I mean, it's weird because I don't want to say that's what it takes. I just know that we can pain. You know how they say gang recognize game? Well, pain recognize pain. Okay? So and for us, it's like we can recognize that. We have similarities. We can, and sometimes those similarities, they match up so good. That's when you think the universe put that in place. Because for doggone sure it wasn't no God put it in no place.
Yeah.
At least not the biblical God. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready for me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So that's what made you say, after that incident, dealing with those people and seeing them arguing like that, that's where you said, I'm done and I'm not, and you haven't walked back into the church since that time, right?
Right.
Okay, that's what it was for you.
I mean, I walked in, like, I said that girl before I moved, like, just out of, like, to be nice. I went back, but my heart wasn't in it anymore.
I understand.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're there for her not for the church and not for believing in it and not for
Yeah.
hoping that, you know, you got to pay for your blessings and then purchase your blessings like you do, you know, some freaking cereal, you know, like breakfast or whatever. Like, I mean, that's one of the things I couldn't stand either. So you got to purchase your blessing every time. But I understand where you're coming from. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what did it for me. The first thing that happened was I was intermittent fasting. So from 10 o'clock a.m. to 6 p.m., I ate food. And the rest of the times I did not eat. Anything from 6 p.m. until 10 a.m. again. I fasted for a while, and I had this, what I would call heaven dream. I was fixing something on the ladder or on a bridge, and some angel came, some lady came, and she looked like that power lifter girl, a lot like her. They're like this Russian power lifter chick, and she had like this instrument I never seen. It was long with a ball, and it had like a horn at the end. I don't know. Anyway, we shot up through the sky, and it cracked open. And not cracked, it opened up like a portal, and there was a tunnel. We went through it, and I came out through some water, and I landed on top of this water, and I saw this place. Now, granted, I haven't had another dream like this since. I was just really focused on having a heaven visit because I'm trying to be like the pastor. I'm trying to be like them. But they never told me they had any visits. I just think that they do because they told me that they've had all this. You know, I just know that they've been in it longer than I have. Okay. So anyways, I have this heaven visit. I see I'm on top of the water and I see stuff. You know, I see like old extinct animals, and animals are huge, and there's people there, but the people are all like yellow light. And there's like this building, like a gazebo. Okay. And there's like a portal underneath the gazebo. And it's like made out of pearls. And the buildings is like made out of gold or whatever. And it was pretty. Some stuff was similar to what the Bible said because of what they put in my head. Anyways, this was a time when I was fasting, I guess. All this stuff made me think I'm fasting, I'm doing all this stuff. So, you know, in your dreams, it ends up projecting out. Anyways, this TV shows up, this Walt Disney TV shows up, and there's Walt Disney on there, the little castle. And she says, jump through. I jump through and I land upside down, like I land on the roof. And I'm like upside down walking around. And she's like, everything that demons do is opposite. Everything is opposite that they do. I was like, okay. So next thing I know, I'm waking up and there's a bunch of people around me, and I'm in the grass. And I was like, what happened? It's like, oh, well, you was fixing a bridge or whatever, and we brought you back over here on the grass or whatever. So anyways, I went and I told them about this dream. When I say woke up, I mean I woke up in the dream. I was still
okay, because I was like, oh, you fixing bridges?
Okay, so when I woke up, real life now, okay, 3D world, I went to and I had this thing called men's meeting. Men's meeting is only 3 guys: me, the pastor, and his friend Charlie. And me, the pastor, Charlie. Oh, and this guy named Brother Q. Okay, so him. So this is when I tell them this. I'm expecting to get good vibes. So this is the first thing, okay? Because I was really tripping after this. Okay, they told me, God said that, you know, even a person who doesn't even seen all that stuff is more valuable in His eyes than you. And I'm like, what? I'm like, wait a minute. Well, I've been doing this for 25 years, and Charlie's been doing that for 35 years, and the pastor's been doing this for 45 years. I'm like, but none of y'all has had any visits. None of y'all has had anything. And y'all have been in this for this long. Like, first of all, I'm trying to get like y'all. Like, I'm basically still new to that church. I was in there for 2 years. Okay. So I'm new. I'm like basically still new, at least for that place, even though I've been going to church for 14 years total. Okay. And so that's what they had to say. And the next thing I hear is that the biggest hell talker about hell, you're going to hell if you do this, if you do that, you're going to hell. You know what he says? He says, what we're having a baby. Excuse me? That ate at me because I'm like, you're the biggest hell talker about hell, about this person. And I went there with my story, and they all seem like they believed my story about the paranormal stuff, the ghosts, my abuse, all that, right? And this is what he said. He's like, well, I prayed that, God, if he's lying, then expose him. That hurt because I thought I finally found a place to believe me, that believes my story finally, but they never did. Okay. But the reason why him getting a chick pregnant and having a baby hurt so much was because if you believe in hell and you believe that, how they say, if you can't repent anymore, if you sin willfully or whatever, and it's a bad thing and you do it anyway. So like you basically can't repent anymore. Like if you believe in all this stuff in hell, why would you ever make a baby? Ever? Because broad is the way to hell, right? Narrow is the way to heaven. And if you really believe, you cannot guarantee your child not having a bad experience, not getting raped at school or molested at school from a teacher or a pastor doing it, because that's around. Let's not pretend like it's not, stuff like that. You can't protect that child all the time. You want your child to go have a nice little sleepover or whatever. You don't know who's there. And you're probably going to.
I don't think that would cause someone to go to hell.
It's just, I know not those things to cause them to go to hell. It's just going to cause them to leave the faith, which they would believe that will cause you to go to hell. Okay. So because of that, I just felt like he had some type of evilness inside of him to ever want to be a Christian and believe in hell so strongly that you would actually, how mean are you to have a baby believing in that? And your child has to go through that now, hearing you say that. And now your child's going to be like, well, why'd you bring me here? Anyways, that's one of the things. Those are one of the things. So what had happened was that I said, okay, the next thing that happened was, oh, somebody here? Oh, somebody coming?
No, I was just checking outside. Somebody walked past.
Oh, okay. So the next thing that happened was he told me, Pastor said, if you tithe and you put your rent money, okay, he didn't know it was rent money, but it was my rent money. You put money into the pot, okay, you will be blessed. God will bless you. And you'll have so many blessings that you won't have, a bag that's empty enough to fill it or something, right? I'm going to tell you what happened that same week. That same week, I lost my job, my dream job. I was working on computers. And I never, ever since then, that's what happened when he told me I would be blessed. Okay. And that was my result. Now, I've told you before all these different things of how I tried it. I've always tried, did I tell you about the turn the other cheek thing? Well, anyway, I'm on a specific topic, but I know I'm everywhere. I'm sorry. Okay. So, I did that and I lost a job. So I was like, okay, I know what it is. It must be because I didn't read this whole book front to back. So when I started reading it, okay, I wanted to read it front to back. I got to 5 books, the first 5. And Torah.
That's the Torah?
Yeah, okay, well, I couldn't take it anymore because all the abuse that I had, they said was Satan. They said was demons. They said was the devil. But when I read it, it's not Satan. It's not saying Satan. It's saying God said this. God said to go kill them people. It says that God answered that prayer because the 42 kids called a man Baldy, or called a preacher Baldy, but he immediately answers that prayer though and sends 2 bears to maul the children to death though. So what's up with that? He can't answer the good prayers, like please save my child from terminal cancer or something like that, or please save this baby from a self-abortion, stuff like that, or like with my sister rape situation, or your situation with the homelessness situation, or with the divorce stuff. Okay, so that was one of the things that brought me out. I went to the pastor. And the reason why I'm pointing right there is because I'm serious. It's like just right there behind me. It's behind the house. Yeah. And so I was like, hey, you told me that this was Satan and the demons that caused all my abuse and stuff like that. But how come I'm reading that it's God? You didn't say that. And like, you lied to me. And guess who gave me this book? The pastor did. This is his. He gave it to me. So we can't say this isn't a book that even he wouldn't use, especially if what the binding says, King James Authorized Version. And so I'm going to tell you the next thing. What happened after that was I was hurt a lot. I was in here, front room, walking back and forth, saying like, we're supposed to be brothers. Like, we're supposed to be, look at each other like brothers. And how could it lie? And they knew this the whole time. And you're like, because you know what I was thinking? 45 years of experience, which meant that he knew for me, right? He knew what he was doing. He knew. And then later on, I find out he went to Bible college. What is that? When you go to college for something, you're going to college to get a career.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this dude is really talking to God and telling me stuff from God, but he's not. He's telling me stuff that he learned from school, which isn't a psychic ability to hear something from God. And so basically what happened is this. This is where I didn't come back anymore. He said, well, we need to talk about that situation, about me not being very happy about how the black shootings was happening, and he only prayed for the cops and not the people that was hurting and suffering. And he was like, well, black people kill themselves, so they don't need prayer. And that's what he said. And I didn't like that very much, along with the whole, I got this many years of experience. So he said, let's have a meeting. So it was just me, his wife, and my lady. We went there, and we was in the men's meeting type of room. And I told him about it. And this is what he said. Okay. He said, well, you need to study it in Greek, and you need to study the Greek language and the Hebrew language, and you got to study it that way. Wrong for me. You know why? Because the whole 2 years I was going to that same church, going there and going to their Bible studies all the time, all he said was, just read the Bible, it'll change your life. Nothing in there. You'll get the answers from the Bible. Just read it. Just read it. So that's what I did. Doggone it. I just read it. He never said that about, oh, now you need to study Hebrew, and now you need to study Greek, study the language. So you mean tell me I got to learn a whole nother language? Excuse me, sir, but do you have a Bible in that language? No, you don't. Okay? He doesn't. And so I left officially, and I never came.
Did you ever use the Greek and Hebrew as in his sermons or whatever?
No.
Then why is he telling you that to be
Exactly.
He's not practicing that.
Right. And the thing is that it's because he told me to read it. And I thought that was why I wasn't a true Christian. I wanted to know God. I wanted to do these things. I was like, that's the one thing I haven't done. I've done everything else. I fasted. I've, treated people with, whatever, respect or whatever. I did the other stuff. Okay. And so that's what ended it, because now all my abuse, I was worshiping an abuser for me. Are you serious? This whole time. And you've been feeding me stuff from school, not stuff from God this whole time. And it ate me up. Anyways, that was my line. I have not been back since. Okay? That's what it was for me.
So can I ask a question?
Yes.
What did you begin studying and stuff after you left?
Okay. You ready for the process? I'm going to tell you. The very first thing I saw, I just was pissed. I was like, the Bible is fake. And I came across this video that said, you will not. No, before that, I came across spirit science. That was the first thing I came across.
Isn't that
Cartoon.
wait. I don't want to say it, but like, isn't that Cyan?
Huh?
The religion that Tom Cruise.
What? What?
Do you know the religion that Tom Cruise is?
No. What is it?
Scientology, isn't that what that is?
Oh.
Or are you talking about a YouTube channel?
I'm talking about a YouTube playlist. Like, it was called Spirit Science.
I've never come across that.
It's a little cartoon that talks about the flower of life. It talks about crystals and astral projection, lucid dream. It talks about these different things. And quantum physics and stuff like that. And it's this little cartoon, this little blue character. That's the first thing I ran into. Then the second thing that was kicked it in the bud, almost did, because I'm gonna tell you what really ate it and sealed it for me. But next thing I did, I found this guy named The Real Merkaba. This black guy who talks about ancient Kemet and he talks about the esoteric stuff, but he doesn't talk about it. He shows you like his sources on the video. He'll show you, he's giving you his research. So I spent 14 years in the church, right? And I was like, dang, it's going to take me 14 years of studying to undo all this. Well, guess what? He already did that for 14 years. As far as like studying and researching, because he was in the Marines and he had all this time on his hands on the water. So, the video was called "You Won't Believe in Christianity Anymore After This," and it was some username that said "Evil Jesus." Okay, but so I'm like, I have to find out who The Real Merkaba is, and I went to his channel and I looked up "It's Time for the Truth." I saw that. Then I saw this 6-hour one that was called "Christianity, the Bible." It says that's game, Christianity and the Bible finally explained. Right, 6 hours, and believe me when I tell you, that's where most of these notes came from. Okay, and I'm going to tell you which video, the one that made me like know that something was up. Okay, remember 9/11, the whole Twin Towers thing. Okay, did you have preachers telling you that was a prophecy?
Not specifically, but my mom used to watch those shows where they were.
Okay,
I know what they were talking about. Yeah, I've heard of that, but okay. I don't think any of my preachers said anything about that.
Oh, dang! Okay, I wish there was more confirmation on that. Well, that's what my pastor talked about. He said it was it happened when I was in middle school or whatever. So he said
they mostly talked about like the rapture being close.
Yeah, and then when you actually read that part of the Bible where I was supposed to, there's no rapture. Like,
yeah, I know, right? like, why are we talking about the rapture isn't a thing? And I keep saying that.
Yeah, like it's not even a thing. You're right. And so what happened? It was a video. It was called like how easily do we forget this is a trap? Something like that. Or, oh man, okay, 1 second, because I'm just gonna go to YouTube right quick, and I'm going to pause that. Okay, I'm gonna go to Real Merkaba. I'm gonna find.
I was just about to subscribe just because I'm looking through his videos and he looks cool.
Oh, The Real Merkaba?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so deep. Like, it's so weird. You're gonna take a humongous jump in knowledge from this guy. It's gonna be a huge jump.
Because I mostly relied on
because you're gonna get sources and you're gonna get these websites and he's gonna have the websites up there and things like that. Okay, I need to search this. All right, go ahead, miss.
Yeah, I asked you what you started like researching and stuff because afterwards I started researching a lot of occult material.
Yeah. There you go.
Like the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah was a big one because I was familiar with like Hebrew and stuff. So I was like, this is similar, and this is very interesting, and this seems to be like, I don't know. I was kind of like picking and choosing. That sounds bad to a Christian ear, but like I was picking and choosing because like you read something and I would like get the feeling that this sentence is true. Like I would just feel like this is true. And then like this stuff is maybe not true. So there was a quote. Someone had a quote. They said 10% of all material you ingest is true.
Wow.
Like only 10%. So I was like, I wanted to find the truth because the Bible doesn't seem very true to me.
I mean, right. I mean, it tells you some stuff like Noah's Ark. But then, as a kid, that just messed me up. You know why? Because I learned in school, they want you to have good grades and pay attention in school all the time, don't they? Well, we know that if you are at the height of Mount Everest for 30 minutes, you are dead. So how the heck are you going to have all the animals, all of them, okay, in a boat at the height of Mount Everest for 7 months? No, it's not going to work. Especially back then, because back then they didn't have as much pollution as we have now. So the animals was bigger, okay? And not only was animals bigger, it was also more oxygen during that time. So anyways, this is what the main thing that made me realize that other stuff was going on. It's called Proof of the Stupidity and Brainwashing of the American People. Now, because I was told that was supposed to be prophecy, okay, or one of the trumpets or whatever, okay, because of that reason, okay, what happened is that he showed videos of like real life people saying they heard bombs going off, and then it wasn't planes, and they was recording and it was actually bombs, not planes. That's when I realized that the prophecies and stuff like that in the Bible is just a plan that the powers of be have and that they're trying to fulfill. And then I realized it's something that we can actually stop. All we got to do is just not agree with it.
Right. Yeah.
That's what really made me like leave and no longer believed in that stuff, because now I knew we actually could do something about it. We wasn't lost to the cause. We could do something.
It's 2 hours. It's 2 hours.
Oh, has it been 2 hours?
Yeah, it's been 2 hours.
If it's more than
all
2
right.
hours.
Well,
I guess we can continue it.
I guess we can end it right there. But we pretty much got to the gist of of the title of it.
I mean, you can do it sometime later. You just
because I want people to be able to download it, but if I kind of go over 2 hours, they kind of can't.
Won't be able to.
But I mean, they can if they got Windows 10. They just use FLV2, FLVTO if you got Windows 10, and you can like download that, and then you can download even up to like a 4-hour YouTube video. But if you just use like YouTube to MP4, you can only download videos that's only 2 hours. But that's that. Anyways, is there anything else you want to say?
No.
Anything?
It's been awesome.
All right. Okay. I'm glad we was able to talk and get those things out and help other people and show them that they're not alone in this stuff.
Yep.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, bye.
I'll keep in touch.
All right, cool. Yeah, check out the Remarkable. Check those stuff out. That's what I've been looking at.
Okay.
Those things. All right. See you.
Cool. Bye.
Bye-bye.